today. Besides it being super cold outside, got some metal for the shed, carport, garage, whatever you want to call this thing. It's actually two of the carports shed things put end to end, so it's going to be my garage. Anyway, I bought some metal to put on the sides and box in the back side. I'll probably, for right now, just hang a tarp or something on the front and keep the wind out. I got some lights in there, so can work in the dark, or you know, once it's boxed in, ain't got a whole lot of sunlight, but needed something to be out of the weather. You know, it's not ideal, not perfect, but I'll be out of the weather, so I'll be on the dirt, all that stuff, but oh well. Anyway, let's get some of this metal unloaded and build us a frame for the back. I bought the metal, the same kind of metal that this is made out of, to build the back wall with, so I'll eventually do the front, but you know, it's coming later. Eventually have concrete, who knows when. But for right now, we'll get the wind off of us and the rain off of us, and hopefully that's enough. So let's get to it. Alright, so what we got is uneven, unlevel, unsquare. Nothing is the way it should be. So it kind of does a whoop-de-doo in the middle, and these are uneven from each other, one's sticking out from the other. A lot of different things that should be corrected, but we're not going to correct any of those. So what we are going to do though is I'm going to measure off of this bottom square tube here, whatever this is, and mark where the metal goes. So I want the metal to go down just a little bit, so we'll say a ½ inch down onto that bottom piece. I wish I could go lower, but I will run out of metal if I go much lower than that. So basically we'll just measure off the top of it, and then we'll subtract the difference. So the piece of metal is 38 inches wide. When they overlap, they're 3 foot. So we're gonna go, say here's 38, so we're gonna come down to 37.5. So it gives a ½ inch. We'll put us a mark. And we'll do that down here on the other end. So same here, we're gonna go 37.5 and put our mark. Now this piece of metal that I bought, they're long enough to go past this one. So it'll run a little bit past here, so I can screw to both of these and kind of tie them together. What little bit of the metal and the screws will hold these two together. But so we'll go ahead and just kind of mark the middle just to see where they're at, see what kind of sag we got in the middle, but we'll mark those out as well. So all those are marked. Let's go ahead and throw us up a piece of metal. Maybe we'll measure up to the roof and see how square the roof is, because if you recall, if you watched any of these other videos, I just threw the metal up there, didn't do any kind of measuring, just eyeballed it in the center and screwed it down. So they are what they are. But let's just measure and see what it comes out to be. So not too bad off. I can live with that. So let's see if we can't manhandle this piece of metal up here by ourselves and get some screws in it. pretty good. Well, there went my new paint job. Again. Huh. Oh well. Now you can see how bad off they are, but you know, oh well. Probably should have put this back piece up first. So we don't see this from the front. All right, so onto this side. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bottom on this side as well. But first I gotta get rid of all this dirt. See all that dirt piled up? Go ahead and get that out of the way with the tractor so the metal will get down where it needs to be. So back on the shed today. Went ahead and threw up this last sheet here. I didn't catch it on camera. All my memory cards are full, so I finally cleared some of those off. But anyway, got that up. Got screws and all of it, not completely screwed, but it is screwed up. So right now what I'm gonna do is rip the piece for the gap up here at the top. And you might be wondering why I put the gap up at the top and instead of cutting off the excess on the bottom. Well, it's because none of this is square or plumb, level, anything, and none of this lines up really well. So I didn't want to try to match up like, say, this seam here. I don't know if you can see it, but here's the 10 on this one. It's like an inch, inch and a half off from this one. So I didn't want to try to line all that up. I just went ahead and squared off the bottom. We'll run it up, and then this piece here, when I cut this piece to fill this gap, it'll go in this groove and then it'll go up behind this. So I think it'll be fine that way. It ain't gonna look exactly right on the top. I mean, you might notice it if you got a keen eye, but it's not gonna be off too bad. So I don't think it'll be worth worrying about. But anyway, what I'm gonna do right now is rip down this sheet of 10, and I'll show you what I got here. So I got this piece flipped over, and I've went ahead and done my measurements up here. And if I cut to right here, so from the edge of this 10 is 8 3/4 inches roughly to this next ridge here. So I'm gonna cut it off just shy of that. So I have about an 8 1/2 inch piece. So if I do each one of those that way, that'll give me 4 pieces, 8 1/2 inches, and that's exactly what I need. So on the roof here, this is you know, the 8.5 inches will come way up into here. So, and I've went around and measured all of them, and they're running roughly even. So it's all gonna be, you know, behind the middle. Ain't gonna be no gaps or nothing. So, well, I mean, no gaps worse than what I've already got. So, yeah, let's get to cutting. So we got all our pieces cut. You may or may not have noticed in the time lapse I buckled that one a little bit, but it don't look too bad. We'll hide it somewhere. But get some help hang these things up, because that way they're so flimsy I don't want to risk bending it again. So you can see it's sloppy cuts, you know, zigzag around, but I mean that little cutter does great, but it's just me not keeping it straight. But I think it'll be all right. You know, it's just the thrown together garage / carport, so it'll do. Let's get these things up. All right, so I'm back on the shed. Guess I still need to start calling this a garage. So I'm back on the garage today. I've got, like I say, all the side pieces up. It's been a few days, so I don't know what I've said, but I'm starting on this front wall. I may have mentioned it's kind of running downhill toward the right side of the garage. So I think it's about 8 inches or so on the back, about 4 up here in the front, and I'm going to raise this side up. So I've been kind of wondering, you know, what I should do, how I should raise it up. And I had rebar drove in, you know, every 5 or 10 feet down through here, kind of what they had on them before I got them. These were used. And I pulled the rebar up, was going to dig under and put a jack under, you know, in several spots, and just kind of slowly jack it up with floor jacks. And kind of woke up and got this from a dream, so I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to try it. So I'll show you what I got here. So this is the front edge of the carport. So this is the garage. This is the piece that sits on the ground, and then these are the uprights. You know, this is the side in here. So kind of what I came up with was, I just got a bunch of these 2-inch receiver hitches. Figured I'd just slide it in there, and it'll give me somewhere to put the jack pad, and I don't have to dig, and I can raise it up enough to I can start putting, you know, blocks of wood or something under it, get it where I want it, and then we'll kind of worry about fixing the ground under it the way we want to. But at least this gives me somewhere and saves me from having to dig. So we'll see if this will work. So here's the middle. This is kind of where the two sheds come together. And I didn't put anything in here. They're not exactly lined up, so I mean they're close, but I can't really get anything in here. And I want to get at least 3 floor jacks in here to start lifting. That way it stays kind of even, because I've already put some of the siding on. Probably should have done this before, but you know, here we are. So I was like, well, what if I put my big pipe wrench on here, put the jack under this, you know? Is that going to be strong enough, or is that going to crush this pipe? I don't know. We're going to find out and see. So we either make it or break it with this. So this is what we're going to do. So let's get to it. I still may have to dig a little bit under these. I don't know what'll fit where, but we're going to see. So that's really close. Not too bad, huh? Yes, I could probably use the tractor for this, but kind of a nice day out. I think it's like 40-something degrees. It was like 28 degrees last night, this morning. It's kind of warmed up some. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's moving. So we'll get our other one set up here. Try to go all as even as we can. Okay, so here's jack number 2. This is in the middle. I don't know if it's going to start just crushing this pipe or if it's actually going to pick up on it. It's picking it up. I think it's the rebar that's slowly catching there, so maybe we need to turn our jack a little bit different. But I don't know, it's trying to pick her up there. This one could probably be done a little bit better, but at least the one on the ends are working. Alright, so this is the setup on the kind of the back, the far end of the shed. So or this the whole front is what I'm trying to lift. So you can see, kind of got it all set up down through there. Not so sure about the middle one, but we'll see. It's not looking too good there, but I think I got another idea. Alright, so here's what we got in the middle so far. I've put a piece of metal on this just to kind of keep it from digging in. I didn't put one on the back, but I got one. I ain't stuck it on there yet. If I need to, I will. But had to use the slate bar to kind of help it a little bit. But once I put a little tension on the outside 2 jacks, one on each end, it was a lot easier to raise the middle up. So let's keep sliding this wood under, and we'll just kind of keep working our way up here. So we got it up in the air here, so it still needs a lot of work. You know, I mean, there's a board on that one I'm not going to leave. Nothing under these. You know, there's a lot to do. So I figure I'll put a couple more blocks, maybe one under each leg, dig them all, get them slid in there pretty level, and you know, kind of tight, so they all sort of settle evenly. And then I'm going to just pack some dirt in here with the tractor and dump it and push under it and keep packing it in and pushing it in until it stays kind of full. Same thing on the outside. I'll kind of build it up around the outside because this is not level. You probably can't really tell, but it does slope. The ground does slope that way, and that's why it was sitting crooked. I just threw it up to have it up in the air and have something to work under, but now it's somewhat level. I'm not going to say that it's anywhere close to being perfect, but it's better than it was. So at least now I can kind of do the dirt work and start focusing on putting this back wall up. Still need to put my little strips up top. I ain't done that yet, but I wanted to get this level and this side kind of finished and start putting some dirt in here at least before I done the back wall. But I want to get this done soon. That way, when the bad weather does set in, it's a little bit more bearable to be out here doing something. So let's get a few more blocks and get in here and clean up some of this mess. All right, so yeah, got all the blocks in. I dug these down a little bit so I could just go ahead and use the same 8-inch blocks. I'm gonna pack some dirt in here and throw in here right now with the tractor and try to pack it in the best I can. Just kind of driving on it, but it's still probably gonna keep settling for a while. So we'll just have to keep dealing with this as we go. But for right now, it's good enough. Go ahead and throw this dirt in. I'd like to put some on the outside, but you can see here, got a few things in the way. But some's going to trickle out, but it's still not going to be as much as I'd like. So I'll have to kind of move some of this stuff and bring some dirt out here. Hopefully the S model isn't in the way. I can move the gooseneck easy enough, but this will be a little harder to move. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to packing some of this dirt in here. So I went ahead and cut the ends of this tube. This is going to be the bottom piece for the kind of the far back wall. I'm gonna weld these little uprights for the supports for the back wall on here. And the ends, I probably should have welded something out there and pulled it apart and stuck the frame together, but I ain't going to go through all that. I just cut it, notched it, and bent it up so where I can put some screws in it. You'll see here, I'll get a little bit closer up of that here when we put it together, but I'm going to go ahead and stick these uprights to it. Well, it ran a little hot there. Let's see what that does. Probably don't want to breathe any of that in. The wind's blowing really, really strong. I'm surprised there's any shielding gas. So I'm not breathing any of this in. The wind's carrying it that way. And yeah. Well, there's just the start of a back wall. Really can't call it a shed no more. They're trying to call it a garage. Maybe we should call it a shop. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a carport, a garage, shelter? I don't know. Building? Who knows? So what I'm going to do right now is I got 3 10-foot pieces. You know, I knew they weren't going to be 10 foot, but the one in the middle was, I thought might have been close. Anyway, I'm going to measure and cut, and then kind of do like I did this, just bend the ends over a little bit to screw into that top piece. I know that's probably not the right way. Probably should weld something, you know, up here on this rafter, but not going to do that. The welder is way out there. I'm way out here, so we're just going to put some screws in it and let her fly. So let's get to marking this out and putting these in. Well, I cut it and splayed the ends all out. I don't need all 4 of them really, but I figured maybe I would use the 2 flat ones on that cross brace and then bend the other ones up. Put a couple screws in them that way. I don't know, probably don't need it, but that's what we're going to try. Had to move my little light out of the way. Hopefully this slips down and don't hit nothing. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now that's just standing there. It's not, I haven't measured to center it up. So just want to make sure it fits, and it fits good. Put some screws in that. Yeah, that's going to look good. The wind's blowing still. Not sure if I can get some measurements, but we'll try. I'm gonna say that's very good. Mark that up there before it gets knocked out of position. Well, it's got some metal on the outside of it now. It's yeah, it's up. It's going to be wind and water resistant, I guess. So give me a good place to kind of work on some stuff during the winter, out of the cold-ish and out of the snow. So my main concern is, like, you know, it's kind of flimsy where it's just a carport and all this on it. You know, maybe adding some bracing inside or something. I know it don't have the full rafters, so you know the front edge is kind of wonky. This will kind of stiffen up the back side, but the other side where it's going to be the opening kind of coming in and out, it's not really going to have anything. I still may try to brace it up or put something up to kind of help with that, but I'm not really sure yet. I had to pull it over maybe a 3/4 of an inch. It was kind of shifted at the top, and I pulled it over with a ratchet strap, got it square. We put up some of the metal. Now the front, once I pulled this backside over, it looks like the front is leaning that way just a touch. And I put a level on it. It probably ain't as bad as this backside was leaning that way, but I can see it out there a little bit worse. So we'll kind of look at that, see if we can't square it up and, you know, kind of brace this thing up a little more solid. So it's probably all I'll put on the back side tonight. I'll put some more screws in it, and we can take the ratchet strap loose. Hopefully that metal holds it square. So, but we'll continue back on this in the morning. I'll cut this piece to go on the top. And then there'll be a little piece to go up there, and I'm hoping there'll be enough left over from what I cut off of this piece to fill that in. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, let's get out of here. So basically all this is one of those little tarp kits from Harbor Freight, and you've probably seen this done before. These have been out for a long time. Basically I'm just stamping a hole where I want to put another one of these grommets, and this little thing just cuts a hole. So I'm just eyeballing how far I want it from the edge. It's just a backer so you don't dull out your cutter. These little grommets or rivets, whatever you want to call them. Put one in this little plate here. Kind of holds the grommet, and it goes in from the bottom side. And this one goes on the top. This little pin is tapered. It just spreads that out and rolls it over to hold itself together. I'm just going to go all the way down this side like that, putting these rivets across from these. So I'm folded this over 10 inches, and then I'm going to fold it over 10 inches on the other side, and that'll give me 18 foot. And what that'll do is I can kind of put a tarp on the outside of this door here. I say door, but the opening, and close it in for right now until I can box the front end. You know, I'll box the front end and put a garage door eventually, but for right now I can hang a tarp up, seal it off, keep some of the wind out of here. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so you've been seeing me for a little while now, putting these rivets in this tarp. I say rivets, maybe they're eyelets. I don't know. It's the little aluminum eyelet that's in a tarp. You can buy the kit at Harbor Freight. And so I poked all the holes, or punched all the holes to put those in. I took all my measurements, what I wanted here. Don't know that they're right. So we're gonna hope that they are. And I'm gonna try to hang this thing up right now. So I got some big zip ties. I'm going to kind of start in the middle, get it hung up, and just see if it lines up, and if this will keep the wind off of us this winter. So yeah, let's see what it does here. So I kind of laid it out, like I say, to match the shape of the rafter. And I doubled up the eyelets, but you can see some of them's missing. I actually ran out, so I just put the ones that I thought would be the most important. But anyway, I'm gonna put the zip tie through one eyelet and then back around the bar and then out the other eyelet, and hope that holds it in place. This is what all my measuring was for, laying this out. The bottom, I think there's enough room that I can put, like, say, a piece of PVC pipe or something in the bottom of it to kind of weight it down. I don't know yet. These rivets here, they're every other one. You know, this was the factory one, and then I put this through both pieces of material. So yeah, you'll get to see right along with me if this is the right measurements or not. Even if it's not, I'll probably still leave it in the video, so you'll get to see my mistakes. But anyway, let's see if this thing fits. I got me a couple zip ties here. Instantly it hangs on the winch. Here's the middle. I'll climb up the ladder and put the zip ties on this one, and then hopefully everything lines up. All this fresh dirt here is really muddy, and it is actually really cold. Let's see. It says it's 41 degrees, but it feels a lot colder than that. I don't have any gloves on. Looks pretty close. And that's not tight, but it's hanging there, so let's see if we can't get the rest of this to line up. So far it's looking somewhat promising. These eyelets I just measured so they would break at each of these little ridges in the 10. That way I'd have a place for my zip tie to go, and this one's lined up, so must be doing something right. Huh. Pretty close so far. Huh? This one's lining up too, so we might be onto something here. I should have known my ladder's on the wrong side to zip tie here. See if we can do this. Okay, okay. Coming together. Okay, I just give up on my boots in the mud, so yeah, they're covered. Well, this one's lining up too, so. All right, so it fits, but it don't. So my measurements are good down here. Everything's good. I must be off on this angle here because you can see the excess slack I got. It needs to go up. So I'm gonna have to get more of these little eyelets and kind of tie that on up a little bit tighter, but we'll see what we can do with it right now. You know, maybe able to get it to line up sort of right, but threw some zip ties down here just to kind of hold it in place, and actually looks pretty good, other than these angles are just a little bit off. So let's see what we can do to remedy that. All right, so it is far from perfect, okay? So I don't know what I was doing up here, got this way off, but I did measure from the bottom to the kind of this seam here, put the curve in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I've done, but anyway, I'm gonna have to fix it. So I'll get some more of these eyelets and kind of fold that over, put them in where they need to be, but I'll show you. There's a lot of holes in it. Like, you can see through the tarp. Didn't realize that, but I guess I've been walking on it for a while. I've been laying in my other building over there, so yeah. At least just keep the wind off of me. I threw a couple bungee cords on the outside edge of it just to kind of hold it from the wind blowing. I will later on, you know, figure out some way to attach it a little bit better where I can kind of ease in and out, but I'll probably buy the metal and, you know, frame up the front here for a garage door and put some tin on the outside of it and put a little garage door in it. I might can get one tall enough to get the excavator in. That's 10 foot, 6 inches to the peak. So even just a touch less with the little bracket, and then it gets low pretty quick toward the outside edges, and the excavator will fit just under the rafter at the edges. So you know, maybe could probably put an 8-foot garage door in there and get in, but I don't know, you know, like 8 by 10 maybe. I don't know. Just something to let me in and out and then keep the wind off of me. So for right now, the tarp will do until I decide what I'm gonna do, because really didn't want to put a lot of money into this shed. I'd rather build a garage, but you know, oh well. This will keep me out of the weather for this winter, and then I'll think about that later on. That way I can build one a little more squarish shape instead of, these are 18 by 20 foot carport sheds, and I stuck them end to end, so it's 18 by 41 roughly, because I put them about a foot apart. And yeah, so anyway, that keeps me out of the weather, and you know, still on the ground, but it's way better than it was. So I need another piece of metal for the back. Like I say, I may end up just framing the front up and putting metal on it. Just didn't want to put all that much time and effort into it, but I may do that just cause. So anyway, I believe we've done enough on this. So there's still a lot of work that needs done, but you get the gist of it. It's boxed in, and I got me a tarp on the front to keep some of the wind off of me, I guess. That way I can put a little heater in there and, you know, kind of stay not warm, but not so cold. But yeah, give me time to work on these projects that I'm not, you know, waiting for it to quit snowing or quit raining. So I'll take that. But anyway, let's get out here and go on something else. All right,